certain products that I've been very, very involved with, I think there were some unintended consequences that were far from pleasant.
This is Jony Ive, designer of iPhone. He doesn't name the product he's talking about, but of course he's talking about iPhone. He's now working with OpenAI, and this is how Sam Altman describes it.
He is amazing. He really lives up to all the hype. I think we've only had kind of two big revolutions in computer interfaces. Really, in the last 50 years, we had the keyboard and mouse and screen, and then we had touch and phones. And the opportunity to do a new one doesn't come along that often.
Jony is not alone there. There are another 400 ex-Apple employees working for Altman. Many of them are believed to be working on a device with no screen, shaped like a donut, or a necklace, or a speaker. Apparently, Sam has a prototype at home, and he called it the coolest piece of technology that the world will have ever seen. Okay, that sounds a lot like marketing words. But all these hundreds of people that must be doing something with Jony, and it cannot be just the money or high salaries. Well, what exactly are they doing? Well, in this video, we'll take a look at that. Jony Ive wants to make iPhone less important with whatever device comes out of the lab. He is not an OpenAI employee though. He works, his company Lovefrom works with OpenAI. It's 50 to 60 people, and OpenAI is one of their main clients. But it doesn't really mean he can't take other projects on, like this one, that makes other fans' blood boil. Jony's best friend in life was Steve Jobs. From the moment they met, they clicked in 1997, and they had lunch pretty much every day of the week until Steve died in 2011.
I can't imagine not working, I can't imagine being somewhere else and him being somewhere else. To me, it's that I would be working with him now if he was alive, yeah.
If only we could see it happen, what kind of a company Apple would be now. After Steve, Jony Ive stayed at Apple for 8 years, and then he left in 2019 and started Lovefrom. Apple was their first client, but I think they had like $100 million contract, but they never actually produced anything together. And the collaboration ended in 2022. And a lot of Apple design people, they followed Jony. So Apple let its most famous designer walk away twice, effectively. In 2023, one of Jony's sons, he showed him ChatGPT, and he loved it.
I actually contacted Sam, which I've not done before, and I was very shy.
So Airbnb's Brian Chesky, the CEO, he set up the dinner in 23, and after some time, they decided to build a product together. Apparently, Sam Altman made a big impression on Jony. The way that we clicked and the way that we've been able to work together has been profound for me. In 2024, Jony and 3 other former ex-Apple people, they created a hardware startup. Tang, Apple's VP of iPhone and Apple Watch design, Evans Henke, who run Apple's industrial design after Jony, and Scott Cannon. And then that hardware startup was acquired by OpenAI for $6.5 billion, with no product, no revenue. That's like $118 million per employee. That's a lot of cash. And then way more Apple people followed them to join OpenAI. And no way Apple likes that. Actually, Eddie Q's son, Adam, is working for OpenAI. I'd love to hear those family dinner conversations. And more people are switching to OpenAI. We had 0 people in 23, then 10 in 2024, and then way more in 2025. These are like really, really experienced folks. Tang, Evans Henke, Scott Cannon, Cyrus Daniel Irani, Eric DeJong, Matt Theobald, Paul Meady. These are not the type of folks you put together to build one screenless device like Humane AI Pin and call it a day. These are the guys that are working on something much bigger. Now, what we've heard over the years was a screenless device. It was a shape like a pin or a necklace or a smart camera, and recently a smart speaker like a donut, size of a hockey puck. You'll be carrying it around in one hand. It has cameras and mics and lights to show when it's listening to you. And also some mechanical elements that move on their own, creating a sense that it is alive and not just an object responding to commands. Okay, that sounds almost like a mini robot in your hand. From internal OpenAI presentation, it will be able to observe users through video and nudge them toward actions it believes will help them achieve their goals. It would notice, for example, that you are staying up late the night before a big meeting and suggest going to bed. But the key feature will be personality. OpenAI wants it to be a physical representation of ChatGPT that takes all of your personal data and understands you very well. with a hardware cost of about $300 to $400. And apparently it's not just one device, it's the whole family of devices. Things like smart glasses, prototype smart lamp, earbuds, and a pen. Ming-Chi Kuo, actually, he even mentioned an AI phone and agentic OS, but nobody corroborated on that point. I mean, if they are working on all these devices, there has to be an OS that unifies them all. And I really doubt it's iOS or Android.
There was an earlier prototype that we were like quite excited about, but I did not have any feeling of like, I want to pick up that thing and take a bite out of it. And then finally we got there all of a sudden.
So, small donut-shaped speaker.
Don't you just want to wait and be surprised and get some joy? Like, it's been a long time since the world has gotten a fundamentally new kind of computer. Like, let us try.
Okay. If it's Alexa, we're going to be really mad. I'm just saying that right now.
But they have problems to solve. If a personality is one of the key features, right, differentiators, how do you find the balance? So this computer does not turn into a weird AI girlfriend. I think that's a big one. Otherwise, it's going to look like this. In fact, this movie, right now it feels like scarily realistic, except some parts are a bit ridiculous. Like Theodore, AI girlfriend, can read thousands of emails in a second and has like super sophisticated personality. Yet he goes to work every day to write words and love letters. Well, I guess director, he had to keep something sane in otherwise brilliantly directed movie. Privacy. I don't know how many people would click accept terms and conditions on a speaker that is always listening with the camera in your kitchen. I'm not sure how they go around that. And the other one is compute. Someone close to Jony Ive said, OpenAI is struggling to get enough compute for ChatGPT, let alone an AI device. They need to fix that first. So why all of this rattles Apple? It's because OpenAI is trying to compete directly using Apple's model. To truly monetize consumers, the most attractive business model is Apple model, integrated hardware and software. Well, because the theory is that people will not want to pay for a subscription, they'd rather pay for the hardware, and that's how Apple's been really successful, and the only way to compete with that is to go against that directly. But there's another side of this. Trying to sell AI hardware today is like inventing the iPod after the iPhone. I can't see a single reason why these devices aren't simply apps. I mean, Ben Lovejoy, he makes a great point. Like everything we talked about right now, it exists with ChatGPT on your phone that you already own. You don't need to buy anything else, which means OpenAI is thinking beyond an app that lives on iOS or Android. They're thinking towards their own OS, an experience that is far better than what we could have at the moment. So taking on the world. Will this work or not? That's the question. You can argue there's no Steve Jobs there, and out hardware Apple. Good luck with that. Many have tried. These are really good arguments. In 50 years of Apple, nobody has beaten them at integrated hardware and software. We love iPhones. Great battery, amazing screen, cameras, and it all works. As an AI device, it's already amazing. And Apple has one of the best, if not the best, chip for local AI processing, the strongest hardware. They can open up the software anytime they want to make it more AI, more integrated, even if they don't own it. And they've got billions of dollars in reserve. What can go wrong? There are other small reasons. Apple has hundreds of suppliers, a decades-tuned network. That basically means that the price of the iPhone is not completely ridiculous and people are willing to pay for it. I also like this one. Nest co-founder Matt Rogers was saying, a lot of my former Apple colleagues went off to start their own things and almost all of them were total failures. Humane AI Pin was built by ex-Apple people. It was actually partly funded by Altman, and it was pitched as the next thing that comes after iPhone. Sold for nothing to HP. There are also cultural factors, because OpenAI folks were complaining that Jony Ive and his team, they're slow to revise designs and sharing how the process works. And this is Apple-style perfectionism versus OpenAI ship-fast culture. That's a big factor in trying to make it work.
I think the key of her is not the little piece of hardware, it's that this thing got to a point where it could run in the background and feel like a sort of AI companion.
So pretty much going for her style vision. I don't think you can avoid this with OpenAI device. If this is something you speak to that becomes your assistant that's built to feel alive, and it's like a physical manifestation of ChatGPT, it's hard to separate the two. And this could be a different attachment than what people have with smartphones, potentially worse, because it has a deeper integration and it's all emotionally based. You read those stories. ChatGPT, people who are on it all day, dependent on it, addicted to it, feeling more lonely. And I mean, like, let's look at Theodore. He's walking along the beach. If he was alone, it wouldn't be as weird or sad as it in this scene. And here too, like, this is like digitization to the ultra max level. I personally don't want that. Parmi Olson made a really good point on this. Alexa and Gemini compete on usefulness. Apple says Siri is a utility, but OpenAI is pioneering a potentially lucrative and morally fraught path with a device that competes on attachment and is engineered to feel alive. And directly on Jony Ive's point, if Ive is seeking redemption by building less addictive technology, he may find that goal comes into direct conflict with his employer's business model. But there's another big factor in the story. It's Sam Altman himself. I've heard conflicting things about him. His board fired him in 23. Some called him a sociopath. A former OpenAI board member told New York Times that he was unconstrained by truth. And how would that shape the hardware tech that they're trying to build? Like, I think this will be fascinating. In fact, I will do a full video on Altman, who he really is, because there's a lot of conflicting information on him. I know New York Times did a profile on him some time ago. It was an incredible read, and I think it would be really worth it because it will put a lot of this stuff that Jony is working on in the context. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Consider adding a sub, and I'll see you in the next one.